Jaco is a senior manager at Deloitte, and he's going to be talking on our cross-border employees. He is in the individual and inspector tax field, and I guess I feel like you're as old as I am now because you've been in Deloitte since 1996. There's no doubt that I think your passion for both technical training puts you up here in a good space. So if I can hand over to Jaco, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's nearly afternoon, so I nearly said good afternoon, but it's still morning. I assume that the slides will be coming through. I've been in this business for quite a while, and I think it fits to what I'd like to speak to you about this morning. And it's a bit of a focused discussion. I'm not trying to give you a lecture, and if you feel to interrupt me by a question, feel free to do so. I started in tax before residency-based taxation, and everything was source-based. Now, after nearly 18 years, what keeps me awake at night and day is sourcing. The irony is just sometimes I have to stand back and wonder. And the reason why this has become such an issue is that our lives are being impacted severely by this rapidly increasing mobility of people. Whether you are a subsidiary of an international firm or whether you are just a small South African firm, at some point you will have someone that is a foreigner working for you, or at some point someone in your firm will, for a short period, longer period, do something outside of South Africa. And that, per definition, has tax consequences. Also, what we're finding is that employees are becoming or have multiple responsibilities. So a person might have responsibility for South Africa, but also Mozambique. But they also have a training responsibility for the whole of EMEA. Who knows? Also, this we alluded to in the discussions on cell phones, people are expected to be available, at least at very senior levels, available even if they travel for business. So you will have a person who is here on business, but they're at the same time on their cell phones or on their laptops, managing processes, managing projects in other parts of the world. So what are the consequences? Are they taxed whilst doing that? So what I'm trying to do this morning is just go through some of the, do we have a clicker or something like that? As a thing. Sorry, I didn't think about that. So what I'd like to do this morning is just to do a bit of a background to give you some of the latest changes on the general side of things, and then just to run through some of the areas where there are complexities or uncertainty, where there has been some movement, but it's not 100%. It's still an 80%, 80-20 situation. And I'd like to highlight where I think a lot of work needs to be done by industry, thought leadership work that needs to be done, and where I think SARS needs to be brought on board. And in my discussions with SARS, they acknowledge that they just haven't got the capacity to look at all of these things proactively. And I think what we're picking up is that by forcing SARS's hands, not through necessarily binding rulings, but getting informal opinions, you are getting at least a progression in the way that SARS thinks and some clarity. Okay. So we all know that source, and that's strike law, Lever Brothers, Epstein, and those old cases, that in order to determine source, you look at the originating cause, you see where that originating cause sits.